the political landscape is like, what we expect to see when it comes to South Africa's politics as well from here on in the 6th Democratic General Election. And after this process, after you've voted, what can you expect, South Africa? We are, of course, joined in studio by political analyst, Professor Lesiba Teffo. Prof, thank you so much for the time as well this afternoon. I hope you've cast your vote as well.
There is evidence.
Fantastic. Cannot complain and cannot say more than that.
Yes.
Let's talk about what your sentiments are thus far when it comes to the voting situation in South Africa. We've had a few, scuff-ups and issues. Simon Mabolo, the CEO of the IEC, giving it an 8 out of 10 thus far. Would you give it the same?
I think so. I think there will always be glitches. This is a mammoth assignment to accomplish. And for us to have moved up to this point with minimum glitches is commendable. I remember last night I said, it's too early for us to pat ourselves on the shoulders.
Yes.
But if you look at the general campaign in and by itself, it went pretty well.
Yeah.
For the day, I'm fairly happy about how things have proceeded. I'm picking up here and there are challenges. And what I'm saying to the politicians and perhaps even to others is that listen to the voices of those who today do not want to vote. There is a message they're conveying.
But how do you get that message from those people if they don't vote? How do you then get that sentiment from them? And I know that the political parties need to look into it, but how exactly do you find that message?
No, I don't buy that argument, not at all. Because they say, I have voted to time without number.
Yeah.
And many a times I got the same response. And I've reached a stage where that I'm no longer an idiot. Perhaps I must try an alternative.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's an alternative that they're trying way of also conveying their message. Look, in other spaces that I am familiar with, is that not voting is also a criminal offense. We aren't there yet, right? Neither do I wish us to get there.
Yes.
But there are reasons that I'm calling upon the politicians to listen and to be responsive to. People want to vote, but they say, what is the worth of the vote? That's number one. Number two, the most crucial one for me is that, yes, you keep saying people died for this vote.
Yes.
But they didn't die for the vote to be misused and abused through looting, corruption, nepotism, cronyism,
so is the
and
ANC,
tribalism, and you name them.
I mean, we only say is the ANC because they've been the lead party ever since 1994. Is the ANC going to pay then for the sense of corruption, the sense of mismanagement of funds, lack of service delivery? Do you think that they pay finally now at this election, or do consumers perhaps give them another chance?
I don't think it would be unfair to attribute everything to the ANC. State-owned enterprises,
yes,
academic institutions, and other spaces. We have seen rot set in, and we chose to keep quiet. You are not going to change the status quo unless you are the agent of change. In a broad sense, society must take responsibility. Yes, the ANC is the principal actor, but I would say it is unfair to say all the ills that we have in the country are attributable to them.
I can certainly agree with that, Baba. How do we change the scenario then for South Africans? Is, some of them just feel like it may not necessarily be their place, that government must always do. Yet we're entrusting a government that wasn't necessarily there when the situation went bad, in some situations that is, to now take us out of the mire.
If you want to get out of the mire, as Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. For as long as the people of South Africa don't hold the electorate responsible, when you see the vote is secret, but what is not secret is speaking out against corruption,
yes,
against nepotism, against cronyism, in your workplace, in your village, in your employment, in your institution, where you see rot. Hold those responsible accountable. That is active citizenship and citizenry. Now, but to sit back and say it is all the government that is wrong and there is nothing I can do, then you are taking agency out of your own self and you want somebody to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, the government is in charge. Yes, the government is in control. Yes, it has failed us. But we also failed ourselves by not holding them accountable.
Prof, we're certainly going to continue with the discussion in just a moment or two as well. Political analyst there, Professor Lesiba Teffo, joining me, of course, in studio here at The Rock, the Results Operations Center out in Pretoria, as we get to grips with the 6th General